Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of The Film Angle. You lucky people. I am Kris.
And I'm Alex.
And speaking of lucky, or maybe not so lucky, Alex, because we have returned to the dreaded segment we like to call the films that streaming forgot. Yep, we resurrected the dregs of forgotten cinema, and for those of you that listened to our previous episode, you will remember that Alex and I had challenged each other to watch a deservedly forgotten film of the opposing co-host's choosing, and I actually don't know what happened because we keep our movie choices a secret from each other, and until we hear them live on the recording, and yet we both managed to pick the same very niche film genre this time around, and that is the Talking Dog movie.
Yeah, we somehow kind of thought that was the mood that both of us were into. We scoured the depths of Amazon Prime, our kind of crap streaming selection of choice. And yes, we found two dog movies. So yeah.
It's Amazon Prime is so mad that even just searching through the library makes you go crazy.
I love it. I love it. There are films I never knew existed, and there are films that I wish I never knew existed, all in the same place. And it's I have a list going now of like possible films for future episodes for you, Kris.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's like they've got these movies that like only like 10 people have ever watched. It's like whose job is it at Amazon to curate these films, or do they get sent them and they approve them? I don't know. Did somebody watch these movies? It's a world I want to delve into, and I hope they make a documentary about it one day cuz I'll be lining up for it.
Yeah, who said Atlantis Untold was good enough to be on Amazon Prime?
Australia had been screaming its praises so much that it had to be put on Amazon Prime.
Uh, well, I do appreciate that at least this time round, it wasn't an Atlantis Untold level
Oh,
film.
glad to hear.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
last time when I picked that movie for you, I knew as soon as I did it that I had done a really bad thing, and I felt really bad for it. And to be honest, I was searching for films for so long. I was like, you know what? I'll just go for this one. I'm not looking anymore. But yeah, it still didn't hurt. I don't want to hurt my best friend. So there you go.
yeah. You hurt me the first time round, and and here it wasn't too bad. It was a difficult watch, but it wasn't too bad. Kris, do you want to remind everybody of what I picked for you?
Well, depending on like, this is quite confusing. Depending on where you are or where you watch it. The movies I recalled my is it my ghost dog
Yeah, so the version
or
I
my magic
saw
dog?
was My Ghost Dog, and then, but if you want to watch the trailer for My Ghost Dog, it
Yes.
comes up as My Magic Dog.
Yes,
Um,
and also the version I watched on Prime I think was called My Magic Dog.
oh, was it? Okay, I thought it was called My Ghost Dog on Prime as well, but I couldn't remember. So maybe it's My Magic Dog on Prime, and then it was My Ghost Dog on Letterboxd, I
Right,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
Like so confusing. I mean like they both mean the movie and they both are really bad ways of describing the movie, so I can't really tell which one's better. I mean, it's about a dead dog that does magic, so it should be maybe my magic ghost dog. Maybe that
Oh
should
yeah,
be
maybe they should
that'll be
just
what I go.
combined it. Yeah, I actually found it by looking through Letterboxd. I found somebody else's list of films that are on Amazon Prime UK, and I just filtered them from like average rating from the bottom to the top.
Wow. Okay. So basically, what they're from the UK. This person. So basically, just me and one other person from the UK have ever watched this movie.
Yeah, well, it was just like it listed every film on Amazon Prime UK, and then you could just kind of like filter it by how you wanted it. And it wasn't even at the bottom of the average rating list. I was going through looking for posters that looked interesting, and that's why I have a slight list for you now. I came across this one, I was like, oh man, so something endearing about this ghost dog film.
Well, I knew I was in for a good time when I went on IMDb. I looked on the reviews, and the first review that came up was a mother. He wrote her headline for her review was "It made my children scream and cry behind the sofa." Um, so I was like, okay. My magic dog. Start him up.
Did it make you scream and cry behind your sofa, Chris?
Well, I understand why they did. And it's a particular scene in the movie that is actually quite disturbing. And even though the movie does nothing to earn, I just don't want to see a dog die. That sucks.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I did actually watch that scene, so I can discuss that scene with you.
Did you? Why did you? Why did you hear about it before, or did you just like? Did you just watch the whole movie, Alex? Is that what
No,
happened?
no. Well, I was just trying to see if it looked any good, or like, would it be worth showing you? Is there any fun in it? And I skipped to a bit where they were like, I think the kid had the dog in his arms after it had been hit by a car. Yeah,
Yeah.
spoilers, everyone, if you wanted to watch My Magic Dog. Uh, and but the dog clearly is very much alive. It just looks like it's lying down. But then at some point, it like does it like Obi-Wan Kenobi disappear and then kind of like lots of lights go into the sky or something?
It basically just turns into like some After Effect firework that it's been slowed down, and it does a couple little swirls, and then yeah, hightails it into the sky, and that's it.
Yeah, but the
Um,
kid the kid like is full on upset, and it does kind of like
yeah,
it does make you like, I don't know, it hurts you a little bit. I mean, I had my own golden retriever in the room with me as I was watching this, and I was like, oh, I couldn't imagine.
yeah. I was thinking about your dog Cody when I was watching this. I was like, oh, they are the gold retrievers are the most beautiful dogs. I mean, like, there's just to think of one of those getting run over actually breaks my heart. So it was a bit of a cheap move, but it's an upsetting scene.
Well, let's go into your film then. Let's tell me about it. Tell me
Oh,
tell
okay.
me all about it, man.
Oh right, you haven't had enough already. So my magic dog or my ghost dog is the story of a boy called Toby, who lives with his adoring stepdad and his gold retriever Lucky. As we said, we learned that Toby's mother, sadly, she like passed away recently, and then she left a will stating that Toby will get her inheritance, as well as give his stepdad Chet. Chet is his name. Full custody. He's just a dad called Chet. Happy ending right there already. Stop end the movie. Nope, no, not until the evil auntie, who is a money grubber, plans to throw a spanner in the works. She wants the money, she wants custody of Toby, and she's even willing to hire neighborhood children to rob Toby's house in the middle of the night and steal that will.
Oh man.
um, yeah, Lucky, he's a good boy. He's a loyal dog. Chases after the robbers down the street and gets run over in the process. We don't see, it's not that bad. We don't actually see the dog get run over, but we hear a whimper in the background, which is just as bad, isn't it? Um,
Yeah.
and then yeah, he's now a ghost dog or a magic dog. I don't even know anymore.
And why does he come back? Is there any reason?
Um, I don't know. Some Jesus.
Oh, okay.
No,
It's worth
it's
mentioning as
never.
well. This is 1997 that the film was
Yeah,
made.
it's just like, it's the all American sort of typical movie with that's kind of, I think there is like it's hinted like he comes back as some sort of like a guardian angel. Um so it's no, there's nothing more to it than that. He just comes back. And now he's got the ability to speak as well. His mouth doesn't open though. He just kind of talks at, stares at the camera and goes, "Oh, you're my best friend."
My favorite kind of dog movies.
Yeah, and he makes jokes and everything like that. Like when the whole side plot in the movie is that Toby and Lucky are trying to set up the stepdad with, you know, a new mum. They wants stepdad's a bit lonely. He's got nothing to do. He's a really nice guy, but he needs to find somebody else now. And there's a new woman a new lady and her kid that move in next door, and she's really weird and quirky. And he's like, she'll be just right for dad. And yeah, but yeah, it's pretty yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, that's it. It's a quirky little movie.
So Lucky comes back and he's just an observer, or does he is he actively partaking?
No, he actively partakes. I mean, like, it's so how horrible is this to the child Toby? Like, he comes back like the night of his death, and he's like, "Right, I'm back." He's like, the kid's crying in his bed. Go like, "Oh, Lucky, I miss you so much. I miss you so much," and crying himself to sleep basically. And then Lucky just apparates out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hey, I'm here, I'm here." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a hug," and he's like, "Nope, you can't hug me," and his arms go straight for his body. And it's like, "Nope, you can talk to me, but you can't touch me."
Fair enough, fair enough. And so, what's is does he have any rest, or is he just kind of like he's there now? He's just a ghost forever, or is
No, he
he?
doesn't. He doesn't eat or rest or anything. He just gets involved with hijinks for the next couple of days, and he's just there as the guardian angel to make sure that that ant does not get that will, and that he can see him and his dad off to a happy life together. And he's still dead.
Okay, okay. And is there any revenge for his death? John Wick style.
No, there's no John Wick. It's just like, Lucky, you died, mate, but he's still like happy and jovial and willing to help you out because you know what, a dog's business is never done. Man's best friend. He's gotta help him out. Like, let's start off with the positives. One thing that this movie does at least really well is like it you can follow it from start to finish. It's a coherent film, and that's probably better than most of the movies that are probably going to be ever talked about on this segment on the podcast. I could follow the plot. Yeah, that's about all I could think of. Everything else was probably very soul destroyingly boring, and just wanted it to end so that I could just go to my bed and sleep. It's a really it's an ugly movie that, like, you had warned me last week that it was a straight VHS scan. So it was just like scan from a VHS and put straight on online or
A
on
little bit
DVD or whatever.
flickery.
A little bit flickery. The whole bottom of the screen is like basically having a panic attack. So for the whole movie, and that's you kind of get used to it. So obviously, it still looks like you're watching a home movie from the '90s, really dull and grey looking, very flat image. And it's not necessarily that it's the most offensive movie ever. No, not at all. It's just you know it is what it is. It's doing that Beethoven '90s dog flick movie thing. It's cashing in on the success of those sort of movies, and it's just doing that same plot a little bit hokier and a little bit worse. There is actually a really talented person in the cast, though, and that's Russ Tamblyn, who most
Okay.
people will probably know for playing Riff in 1961's West Side Story, as well as playing Dr. Jacoby in David Lynch's Twin Peaks. Big fan of his work. He's had a bit of a weird career though, and this is probably one of the lower points. I feel sorry for him. He winded up in something so amateur and insulting for a man who's pretty well recognized in Hollywood. He must have just been in a really tough spot. But yeah, he plays. They have this restaurant where they keep going to. It's like Toby's favorite pizza or pizzeria Italian restaurant, and also it's the only restaurant in town because they have 6 scenes where they have 6 dinners at this pizzeria, and obviously nobody goes anywhere else in town. It's only happening here.
Business is
Um,
booming.
Business is booming. Russ Tamblyn plays like the maitre d'. He's like, well, he's the owner of the restaurant. I don't even know what accent he's doing. Like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, he's Italian, and then sometimes like, is he Polish? Is he? It's all over the show. I don't think he knows what he's doing. He's like, I make you something special.
I'm so glad you gave us a picture of what that sounded like.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's like because the first half of it is, oh, that's an Italian accent, and then he does something really weird with it. But yeah, it's just it's crazy, and yeah, and he joins in the hijinks with Toby and Lucky, even though he can't. Nobody can see Lucky, by the way, apart from Toby. That's
Mm.
a plot point I forgot to mention. Um, so when Toby's like in the middle of the street, looking down at on the pavement, going like, "That's a terrible idea. Dad's not gonna like that." And then the local mailman's walking past, going, "What are you talking about, kid?" You know,
Okay.
it's all it's that hilarious sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, Rust. I just it because it looks like a '90s movie, or really bad home video. It looks like when Russ Hamlin's on screen, it looks like you're just watching Twin Peaks. It's kind of really weird and surreal in that way. But yeah, that's about all I could find to really enjoy in this film. It was an experience. Like I kept watching it, looking at my watch every 10 minutes, and I was just like, oh, please be over now. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't bad. It was just boring, man.
Mm.
Um, please do better next time.
Me or the
Yeah,
film? Me. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. You even like pre watch this.
I thought it looked all right. I thought, yeah, maybe I'm just a sucker for golden retrievers. I thought there's some joy to be had here.
There's no joy had here.
Well,
I was sick, and it made me more sick.
I mean, you did give me Atlantis Untold, so I think there's no complaining can be done by you. Not for a long
It,
time.
I thought it was a very ambitious movie. So I always love a movie like Mark Kermode always used to say. I prefer a movie that aims for the stars and misses than one that just that doesn't try at all. You can't
Well,
disagree with that.
it definitely tried everything but filming on real locations.
Yeah, it was trying something new. It was doing that James Cameron thing where it was trying to really be innovative with the technology and do things that had never been done with it before.
Yeah, they watched Attack of the Clones. They were like, we could do that. We could do that.
They could that is a movie that couldn't even be bothered to shoot an on-set location kitchen. They couldn't even find a kitchen to shoot it. They had to CGI one.
Oh man, man. Anyway,
But yeah, that's my magic dog.
there you go. Well, you did pick me a better film than Atlantis Untold, but you didn't pick me a good film. Does that make sense? You still didn't pick a great film, but it was watchable. I
Okay.
I feel like I only checked my phone a good handful of times. You know,
That's better. That's better than me.
whereas with Atlantis Untold, it was like every 2 minutes. I was like, have we
Where
have we
you,
progressed?
you more used your phone to get you through the film. It
Yeah.
was more just like a crush.
Do you
It
remember
was
when you used to get a new like computer game when you were a kid, and when it used to take like a day to install, and you just watch the little line as it moved like
yeah.
slightly, and you keep coming back to it to see if it has moved any further. That's what it was like watching Atlantis Untold, but without any of the anticipation that something good might come at the end of it, apart from it's ended.
Oh dear. It's like the same. It's like a driver test disc or something like that, and it's scratched as well. I want to hear all about this movie. Tell me about it.
A Dog and Pony Show. That is the film that you challenged me to watch.
Great title.
From I think maybe like 2-3 years ago. Was that am I
Yeah,
right
pretty
there?
recent actually.
Yeah, it wasn't as old as the film I got you to watch.
Yeah.
Made by like 10 different production companies, which is very evident from the start of the film when the first 5 to 10 minutes is just logos from different production
Oh
companies
right.
that
Okay.
had that had a part in this film. Uh,
Ah.
so yeah, so I'll go through the plot. I'll let you know the plot. This is kind of what I got as I watched it. So there's a dog called Dee Dee, and she's been left by her owner at a circus. This was a while ago. She's now just kind of a circus dog, but that's just a bit of backstory for her. And it does come into play later. That's why I'm bringing it up. But she's very good at what
Oh.
she does. She's the best circus dog performer in town. She has a show with a pony called Trick, but she doesn't even call him by his name because she's that much of a diva. And
What?
the first time we're introduced to her, it is literally from her point of view, watching these two guys kind of be like, "Okay, Doug, coming through. Are you okay? How's your hair?" Like proper like assistants to the dog and stuff like that. But I must say, the film never kind of never verifies whether people can actually talk to these dogs or not. There's a lot of talk about like the dog's gone off and signed a different contract with a different circus, but like they don't understand what they're saying. So I don't fully understand how much communication dogs and humans have, because there's at least one scene where Dee Dee, who's voiced by Mae Whitman of Avatar fame, and so pretty good voice cast. But yeah, you just
Yeah.
like it cuts to the point of view of of like Ralph Macchio, who's also in it, and then it's just like the dogs barking, you know. So they don't understand each other. But anyway, the rules are a bit weird,
Skewed,
to
yeah.
say the least. So yeah, let me go through the plot. She's very good at what she does. None of the other animals in the circus like her because she is so much of a diva.
Stuck up.
Yeah. And then we kind of like cut to an actual human child who's moved to the town where the circus is being held at. Him and his dad, played by Karate Kid's Ralph Macchio, they have a farm together. They've moved away from New York and they have a farm, but neither of them have a clue on how to run a farm. And the boy gets tricked by
Sensible choice.
yeah, the boy gets tricked by some local bullies who just kind of like walk up to him at some point and they're like, "Go here at this time," and he ends. It's actually somewhere where actually he's trespassing and kind of at the same time. This is getting weird. It's very difficult to describe the plot of this film. So he gets stuck in
Yeah.
this trespassed area. Cut back to the circus. Dee Dee is is going through a kidnapping event where a rival circus wants Dee Dee. She's kind of this very clownish lady who runs the circus. She sent two guys to kind of go kidnap Dee Dee or dognet Dee Dee. Dee Dee kind of gets away, but she gets stuck in this room. Um, and the pony comes to save her. Uh, but he can't open the door. He's like, "I'll go get the humans." But then he's just like, do you even know my name?" And she can't remember his name, even though she does the challenges with him, the shows with him, and
Right.
kind of like just leaves out of anger. He swears that he's going off to find the humans, but it doesn't happen for a while. And obviously they can't communicate with humans really, so it doesn't really make any sense. The circus leaves, the boy finds the dog, he takes the dog home, and they're on the farm, and she's like, "I gotta get home," but the dog doesn't know that. The guy doesn't know that, so he just like keeps her, and she's feeling very sorry for herself because she's the greatest dog performer of all time.
Okay.
So obviously we got a struggling farm. The animals on the farm all seem to have some kind of like issue as to why they can't do things. Like the chicken can't lay eggs, the horse can't plow a field because he's got like medical conditions. I can't remember what was going on with the pig, but it twerks at one moment. I don't know.
That's all that matters.
It's all that matters. Yeah, it's very strange. But yeah, so all the animals are like shit at being farm animals. So because of that, the farm's going to get closed down because it's not making any money. And then if it doesn't make any money, they can't pay their rent. They can't pay the rent, then the farm gets bought back by somebody else, a landowner in the area who is a bit evil and
What?
has kind of set them up with a bad farm. So Dee Dee tries to teach the farm animals how to like farm, and then she's like, "Screw this," because that's not working either. Like they're that bad. So she's like, "Okay,
What could a pig be bad at doing? Being bacon?
I don't know. I think it maybe had like smell issues, or it didn't like getting
It's
muddy or something. Like this is like I started to zone out a little bit at this point.
it still fulfills its function of being bacon.
But then it turns itself like, okay, maybe this is the plot of the film. Dee Dee then tries to train them up as circus animals, and she's like, "Well, if we can put on a show, then we can still make money, and then let's try and get you doing some things, tightrope, and that all that kind of
Mm.
circus show stuff." You're like, okay, is this where it's going? She's gonna create a new circus for herself.
Circus army.
Yeah, they're not good at that either. They're not good at that. So, so that's not the plot of the film either.
Fuck.
In the end,
What are they good
she
at?
like finds a book on farming, and the dog, and kind of uses the methods in there. So like she gives like placebo pills to the horse to make him think that all his illnesses have gone away. Because
What?
it's all mental. It's all mental, you see. And he can plow a field again. Oh, and there's a cow that's like really gassy and doesn't like being milked. And I think she brings in a skunk to teach the cow how to not be smelly, or at least how to control her farts. Um,
Oh.
yeah, so there's a lot of that, and then when when the cow is ready to get milked, there's quite an interesting scene where the young kid's milking her, and he's getting very excited by the fact
What?
it's started to lose.
I misjudged.
But then at one point, there's
Um,
like a snake. I was like, well, where did the snake come from? That's a new character that's just come in. Didn't,
the farmyard snake.
I don't know, man. It was
Come on, every farm's got one.
it was very weird, and also so all the animals are like real animals, and they CGI the mouths. Um,
Yeah,
like it's
I've seen
not
that.
great CGI. Like it works enough, like maybe for a child to suspend their disbelief and kind of
It's just a flapping mouth though that doesn't do
yeah.
much more than flap. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. Like it clearly wasn't a high budget film. But yeah, the snake is the only character that's a puppet, so it just looks shit. Uh,
What?
so that's a bit weird.
Then just don't make the character a snake.
There's also another subplot. So the dad is single, and there's a mother and a child nearby to the farm that come and help him out because they kind of like fancy each other. Like the kid fancies the daughter and the dad fancies the mum, and they all kind of just like help each other out to make the farm good
This is
again
exactly the plot of my movie.
before they get taxed.
Oh,
uh
of course.
it's all a bit weird. But then all of a sudden Dee Dee gets properly kidnapped again, or like this time it goes well by the rival circus. And she has to go and become a circus dog there. um
Why is it they want to steal her? Is it their circus is failing and they need like a headline act or something like that?
exactly that. And when the other circus see on the TV that she's gone to this new circus, been dognapped to this new circus, they're like, oh, she must have run off and signed a contract with them. I was like,
Oh,
that's where your brain goes to. Okay.
that's such a typical DD thing to do, though,
But the
isn't it?
pony
Yeah.
from that circus is full of guilt and kind of runs off to the circus because he knows the truth, and then everybody has to kind of follow him. And then at that circus, as Dee Dee's going to perform, she obviously decides to be like, screw it, I'm not performing. The original owner of Dee Dee, who left her, as we saw in some backstory earlier in the film, shows up and accuses the other circus of animal cruelty. And he's been like an undercover FBI agent. So Dee Dee originally thought that her owner left because he was like pushing her too far and stuff like this. And then he was just like, I can't do this anymore. You're on your own, kid. But really, Dee Dee, training Dee Dee to be part of the circus was his inroad into being undercover in the circus industry to suss out animal cruelty. So the rival circus, he accused them of animal cruelty, and like
I
wants
mean,
to close it down. But obviously they're like, that's our dog. And then the boy shows up because he's seen her on the TV, and he's like, that's my dog. And then the original circus shows up, and they're like, that's my dog. And then obviously Dee Dee decides to go with the new boy on the farm because that's where she wants to be. And even the new owner's like, Dee Dee can go wherever she wants because wherever her heart takes her. Um, so they have. So then they strike up a deal to put a show. Well, strike up a deal. The main circus is like, we'll help you out since you're under Dee Dee's new home. We'll put on a show at the farm, because we've got to raise $10,000 in so many days, to be able to kind of like pay off the tax stuff. So yeah, they go on and put a show on, but they only make about $5,000. But then the circus owner does a magic trick where he magics up another $5,000, and the farm is saved.
That is so much.
There, I mean, at the point where the original owner from Backstory turned out to be an FBI agent, um, I was
Yeah,
very
you didn't see that
confused.
coming.
Yeah, this is why I had to write it down, because I was just like, there are so many things going on right here. Like, if it had just been like, I'm going to teach them how to be a circus farm, sure, very simple. But then it was like, oh no, actually, I'm going to teach them how to farm from a book. Okay, okay. Oh, I've been dognapped again.
Uh,
Oh, for goodness sake, come on.
is Dee Dee like a big dog, or is she like a little dog?
She's like a little dog. I don't even know the breed. Like, she's a bit bigger than a Chihuahua.
She's like a bit like a Paris Hilton sort of dog, is she?
Yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't say like definitely not a Chihuahua, but like yeah, small to medium.
I just want to see a little dog try to pass pills to a horse that then
Oh well,
consumes them.
she uses sugar cubes actually. So she tells the horse that the sugar
Because
cubes.
horses love sugar
Yeah,
cubes.
she's like, oh, it's a placebo pill, which is obviously
Oh, kids know what that is.
yeah. But well, I mean they describe it, but obviously the horse doesn't know what a placebo pill is. So it's just like I think I'm not even sure kids would get much out of this. It's watchable. Don't get me wrong. Like I watched it. I could follow it. I understood Dee Dee's character and her arc. There was a lot of other stuff going on throughout the film, which was just very confusing, and I didn't understand. Well, not that I didn't understand, but it was just like this is unnecessary, and it all kind of culminates in a kind of bit of a weird nothing film that I guess teaches you the values of family and friendship and being nice to people. So, like I could I could take stuff from it, but am I gonna show any future children of my this film? Absolutely not. I mean, number one, I don't think I could sit down again and watch it, and number two, like there's enough kids out there, enough kids films out there, that do this a lot better. That this like I don't understand why this was made, but
Are we gonna like put a ban on, next time we do this episode? Are we like banning kids movies for a while?
yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. Yeah, maybe we won't do a kids movie next time. It was supposed to be a dog movie. It doesn't
Yeah,
have to be a
but
kids.
you see, my movie had bullies in it as well. What like all these movies always have to have like bully kids as well in it. It's
Yeah.
it's a fallback. Yeah, but so surprising. Like, yeah, it's like your film had a few pretty, in their heyday, were really big actors. I mean, like I said, you have Ralph Macchio and you got Mira Sorvino. I mean, like, isn't she an Oscar winning actress?
Who was it?
Mira Sorvino.
Oh, was she the blonde lady?
Yeah, yeah. Well, she won an Oscar back in the '90s, didn't she?
Did
For
she?
like
Oh.
Mighty Aphrodite, which I
Oh,
isn't
I've not seen that, so I didn't even recognize her as somebody. So I feel bad for that. But yeah, there you go. But then again, like if I didn't know Karate Kid, I wouldn't have thought Ralph Macchio was a star. Was a star in this.
does he do
Um,
karate?
he doesn't do karate. No, yeah, missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, missed out there. But I think of like dog films and family films and stuff, and for me, like do you remember like the Homeward Bound films and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah.
They were so good. Like that's the kind of dog film. Like that's peak dog film, right?
Or like no, I would say it below was like peak dog film for me.
Is that the was that the
The Husky
Huskies?
one. Yeah, the
Ah,
Disney
okay.
Husky movie.
Yeah, see, that's good. That's good enough. I can take that. I can take that. And then like
Yeah.
farm animal films like Babe. You can't get much better than Babe.
Oh, and Babe, I'm a big fan of Babe 2 Pig in the City. That's a great movie.
They're both great. Babe 2 Pig in the City is terrifying. Terrifying film. But I really
Yeah.
like, yeah. But again, like they did the talking animal thing right. Um, but yeah, But then again, that's George Miller making a talking animal film, so you're
Yeah,
guaranteed some form of of quality.
I mean that guy's he's got the weirdest filmography of any filmmaker in history, isn't he?
I know, and a cancelled Justice League film as well.
What does his filmography go? It goes Mad Max, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, Mad Max 3, then it's Babe. No, does he do the first Babe movie or just the second one?
Just the second one, I think. I think
Yeah,
so. He does Babe, Pig in the City,
and then Happy Feet,
Happy Feet.
Happy
He's
Feet 2.
did he do the sequel as well? All right,
Yeah, he
fair.
did the sequels, and
Was
then
Happy
Happy Feet.
Feet good, or was that just child me thinking it was good?
I was never a big Happy Feet kid anyway. Um, yeah, it was one of those things like when you put on TV, you couldn't turn off because it was just so different and strange. I think people like that movie. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, it's one of those films. In my head, I'm like, I think it was good.
Yeah, and then obviously Mad Max Fury Road, which is a masterpiece, and now,
Yeah,
now you got a genie movie.
Genie
So I don't
movie,
know.
and then he's doing Mad Max Furiosa, isn't he? Which I think is
Yes,
filming now with Anya
yeah,
Taylor Joy in the Furiosa role.
they've casted Young and Morton Joe as well, haven't they?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think they might have casted Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth's in it. That's it. Chris Hemsworth's in it. I like Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. It definitely. But then again, like the Mad Max Fury Road sounds like it was lucky that it came together so well. It sounds like a pretty.
It was supposed to be being made like the early 2000s, wasn't it? And then I think 9/11 crashed the Australian market, and then they had to put it in the back shelf for years, and then all the Mel Gibson stuff came out and everything. So it was supposed to come out like 20 years ago, and they had all the cars that you see in Mad Max Fury Road are actually have been sitting in garages and sort of like locked rooms for about 20 years. They were actually the cars you see in the movie were the cars they were going to shoot 20 years ago. So they've all just been sitting in storage, which is crazy.
No, I was just gonna say he had like a cancelled Justice League film, which was this was before the Avengers, I think, and it was gonna have like Army Hammer was gonna play Batman and stuff.
That's never
So
going to happen.
yeah, you say that, but now you've got Ezra Miller playing the Flash, and they are
Yeah.
creating a lot of good press at the moment. So
You know what? DC though, like I feel you gotta feel for them. They've been saddled with two of the most hated people in the world right now.
who's the second?
Um Amber Heard.
Oh, course,
So
yeah.
both of their like big properties are both coming out are both doomed.
Well, I don't know. Apparently, they've cut Amber Heard, and I don't know.
Not doomed in terms of what the final product will be, more doomed in terms of what they do with what they've got at the minute.
The test screenings of the Flash movie have been like really good, and they're actually like sitting on a pretty decent
Really,
film apparently. So they don't really want to kind of mess with it too much. So I think it's just going to be a case of we'll release it. Ezra Miller won't do any press, and we'll see how it goes. But we won't do anything with him going forward. But I think potentially word of mouth alone will make the Flash movie go forward.
I think they're just hoping that like enough regular audiences are just not going to know much about the Ezra Miller stuff and just wait for that sort of just to die down.
Oh,
But
definitely.
although Ezra Miller is on a rampage at the minute,
Yeah,
so there's
yeah.
no.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going around about why it might be, and I wonder if we'll ever like. It doesn't sound great any of the news coming out of Hawaii about Ezra Miller, but I do wonder if we'll find out more as to why they may be acting in certain strange ways before the film comes out, and maybe we'll have more of an understanding. I don't know. And then yeah, Aquaman. I mean, I think either Amber Heard's not going to be in it at all, or she's going to be in it for so little that nobody's really going to care. But then also like I don't really want to get into the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing because I don't think
People
it
are very passionate,
yeah, people are very
very passionate
passionate,
about
and
it.
I don't think it does anybody favors. I don't think it's exactly the
It's not necessarily black and white, is it? I mean, yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, what can we say? You know, we're so removed from that situation, aren't we? Um, to a degree.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess the court hearing was a window to some degree, but at the end of the day, it's somebody else's life, and it's two people telling their own story, and I wasn't there, so who am I to have an opinion?
I'm very suspicious as to why it was so big and viral and forced down your throat, in terms of TikTok videos and Instagram and just it feels very icky and ooey to like I would just open up Instagram or Facebook and you'd see videos of being like 10 funniest Johnny Depp moments, and it just made me feel I was like, I don't care, this isn't funny. I mean, I know it was about defamation, but it's also very much about abuse. Um, and we shouldn't be making light of that or jump into conclusions because yeah, I just I don't know, the way it was very skewed made me left me feeling a bit icky.
I know what you mean. It sets a precedent, and you know it shows like women in the future or women of fame. You know, could be a big risk to come out if it's even if it's a truth or not to come out and speak against a partner, especially that partner is very well beloved as someone like Johnny Depp. But you know, at the same time, I recognize that I'm in no camp here. It could
No,
be
you
I am removed from the situation.
you can only hope that justice has prevailed and the result was the right result. Because if not, um, we'll be hearing about it in 10 years' time when there's a documentary about Amber Heard and how TikTok told us to hate her. You know, like we were so easily skewed by TikTok videos into hating on a woman who had gone through abuse. I
Well,
hope that
I
isn't the
also
case, but it could be.
me too. But I also think that Johnny Depp is so prevalent in so many people's lives and also so many millennial people's childhoods. You know, he was Captain Jack Sparrow for goodness sake. You know, how many Disney projects he's been involved, or Tim Burton. All those movies are sewn into the fiber of our DNA of who we were as kids or young adults. That I think so many people just don't really want to come to realization that that could be sort of mutilated by a truth that could ruin it, you know. So
Yeah,
I think that kind of skewers people's opinions too. But you know, at the end of the day, like I said, justice could have prevailed. But I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm always being a facts person. So unless I have a fact in front of me, I'm not going to really um say it was or wasn't because I could be proven wrong 10 years down the line.
definitely, definitely, and there's probably a good chance.
So, dogs.
Yeah, we have full on gone off on a segue. That's just what the Dog and Pony Show does. Dog and Pony
Yeah,
Show opens a road of many more interesting and exciting discussions. um, from Dog and Pony Show to Babe to George Miller and Mad Max to Amber Heard and Ezra Miller.
it was all thanks to a dog called Lucky, who turned out to not be so lucky
No.
because he
Lucky,
got ran over.
Lucky, stay with me, boy. Stay with me.
You're my best friend. Goodbye.
Oh, bother. Oh, wait, no, that's just Winnie the
Yeah. Oh, bother.
Oh, bother. Well,
Wrong franchise, buddy.
if yeah, if you've enjoyed this episode of uh, the film angle and the films that streaming forgot, then let us know because I quite enjoy doing these challenges. But I guess that should take us to our kind of end result. Should streaming forgot my magic dog, or should we be all searching it out, Chris?
Um, I think if you're like a dog completionist or like just a weirdo, then yeah, feel free. It's on Prime. watch it. But no, I don't think you're missing anything here, guys. We've got to try a little bit harder next episode, Alex.
Fair enough. Same with the Dog and Pony Show. That can also be left to be forgot on streaming channels. Don't recommend anybody searching it out unless you just kind of want a bizarre time with varying plot lines and a twist, an FBI agent twist, which sounds great on paper, but execution, yeah, not so good.
Well, to be fair, and this is not Alex, this is not your fault because you told the story really well, but I kind of switched off halfway through you telling me the story. I got so confused that I couldn't even. My mind didn't want to keep up anymore. So
That's
maybe I, yeah.
That's fair enough. I think me struggling to tell you the plot of this film goes a long way to show you how much I struggled with the plot of this film. So.
You no, you did a brave thing. You put yourself you put yourself out there for the team. I appreciate that. Okay, guys, so there you have it. That goes our second episode in our new segment, the films that streaming forgot. Hope you guys really enjoyed it, and yeah, if you want to hear some more, you want us to do future episodes in this, please feel free to comment or like, or just let us know that you're enjoying it. As always, you can follow us on our streaming platforms. We are currently streaming our podcast on Apple, on Spotify, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts from. And also, we have a pretty strong presence on Instagram. We're doing a lot of reels at the minute, posting on there regularly. So please check it out, guys, at the Film Angle. Yeah, but next week we've got some really good stuff to look forward to. We are going to be obviously talking about really big movies that have just released, like Elvis and The Black Phone. So please stay tuned to hear us talk about that. But for now, this is the Film Angle, and my name is Chris.
And I'm Alex.
Bye, guys.